Guys, guess what? This is so amazing. I'll try to be quick. So I tried not eating today, like sort of like a fast. I ate a strawberry earlier today, and in the last couple days, I've been eating like raw veggies. Maybe I'll put some lemon when I wash them and put lemon on them, and just a little bit of salt, like kale, for instance, because it's so dark green. So I was like, this should have the most nutrients to catch me up with my lack of nutrients, just to go ahead and get my body starting to rejuvenate itself because I had stopped drinking like I was and then stopped smoking marijuana maybe 3 weeks ago. And so I feel better that way. I remember back when I wasn't smoking, like how I went through life and I felt a lot healthier and a lot better. So, anyways, longer story short, I saw that I had more patience when I did not eat. Even though, it's supposed to be the opposite. Like, you're supposed to be more grumpy when you don't eat. But, like, when I was making a sacrifice to not eat, I did it for a spiritual reason. I don't know. I can't really explain the whole idea of how it made me more patient. But it's like I did that to make myself not have the energy to give into negativity. And so when I was laughing because my prayers were even more effective as well, like when it came to when I noticed people were like sort of seemingly doing gang stalking, and I know sometimes the spirits can jump into other people. I could explain quite a few things that happened, but one thing I noticed is that in the store when I went to Safeway, there was some person that kept walking around, and I remember he had walked by me. I could feel it. It's like I don't know how to describe it, but it's like some different type of feeling. I pick up on a different energy. I'm sure you guys, some of you who may watch this channel, does it too. But so, anyways, there's this tall man wearing all black, and it was something different about when he was walking, when he saw me come to the store, and he walked out of an aisle and just stood there when I was there, and then he followed where I was going, and then he went like like he did his face some strange way. I saw him as he was coming at the corner of my eye. He went right when he got back close to me, and I was like, you know what? I remember Mr. Felix Lopez from Welcome to the Awakening channel said that that's what they would do. And I didn't pay too much attention to it before until that happened. And then the guy also walked down the same aisle I walked down. I was like, why does it seem like these people are following me? Like they're coming to, it's like they were trying to walk, and they were all wearing all black too. And it was men who was doing it. And I see it as so lame when men are doing it. But there was this woman who was standing in front of me watching me too. I was walking, and then I felt her staring at me, and then I felt the energy of someone else focusing on me, but I didn't pay them any attention. And then all of a sudden I dropped the sage and the dill herbs that was in the little plastic packs, and they fell on the floor when I was carrying the water. So what I did was I put the water down because I was carrying a bunch of stuff without a basket. So just some organic apple cider and some water and two cheese, like sharp cheddar cheese slices, thin slices from Tillamook, and then that was it. But it was like all bundled in my hand, and then I had like 4 packs of herbs, which was dill and mint and chives. Yeah, chives. So the chives and the dill pack fell out of my hand, and I thought about something that Trinius Henderson, or whatever his last name is. Sorry about that. I remember coming across one of his videos because sometimes I don't like when you're subscribed, they'll sometimes show a random video from one of your subscribers, and I saw something about the chosen ones, like they have a big energy and they make stuff fall sometime when it's one of those videos. I can't remember, it was maybe like a couple weeks ago. I had seen it, but I was like, oh shoot, another chosen one up in this bit, because I thought that's why it fell. But then all of a sudden it was like my spirit picked up on, no, like somebody was doing some type of like wanted me to drop it. It was like some haterism I felt. So then as soon as when I had that thought, in my mind I said return to sender. And then that same guy that went that walked near me, he the one who dropped his keys after I saw 444, like he dropped his keys right next to me. And then I was like, oh, so it was him. And so I left the store and I saw other stuff happening, but then I decided to go to the gas station down the street on Broadway from that Safeway. and a guy, he was just looking at me when I came in. They were watching me when I pulled up, and then the guy at the counter, he was just staring. He didn't say a word. He was just talking to the other person like they were all cheerful. Then his face went, he was just solemn when he saw me walk in there. And then when I didn't say a word to him either, and I didn't even, because usually I speak to people, but I notice how some gang stalkers is like when they see you, or demonically bound people that's have demons in them that want to start acting stupid when they see someone that's a believer comes in there. So he changed, but then at that very end, after I did the transaction, I was silent throughout the whole thing. And then I usually let them know I have a pay card that gives you points for, that gives you earn money back when you make purchases. I usually let them know, but I just held it in my hand to let him see, and then I used it. But then after not saying words, he was like, do you want some quarters? And then he was like, he was asking me, he said a certain amount. He said 13 or 16. He changed it to 16 after I said it. I mean, after I looked up at him, because they were using the number 13 a lot to gang stalk. Even my grandma, I'm almost wondering if she was a sacrifice, because the way things happened that led up to her death, and then she just dies right before Valentine's Day on the 13th. And then after that, the gang stalkers was repeating, saying stuff to me that happened during her death. Which was one thing was foam at the mouth. And I remember one black man saying that he pulled up the chair with a number, with a faded number 13 on the front of it. And I could tell it was intentional what these people were doing. It's like the jokes on them is what I realized tonight though. Um, and I noticed how I stayed more patient in my mind. It's like usually I'll get pissed and say something like, especially when it's happening too much, is like I let it get to me, and then I'll say something like, or I'll do something. I may not say something, like if they walk and cut me off, I went and walked a couple times and cut them back off. But instead of doing that, I was like, no, this is part of what they want me to do. They want me to feed into their BS energy. So I just stopped doing that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what's happening. All right. And then in my mind, I'll say a prayer to God, and then all of a sudden I'll see something happen back with them, or I'll get a confirmation in my spirit that later on they're gonna repay for the little petty stuff that they're doing. Like even if it's the next day, I don't have to be there. I know that it's like for sure they build up their own karma when they do stuff to people, especially somebody who ain't do nothing to you, and you're doing this petty stuff to come and mess with someone. So it's just like stalking just to drive people nuts and drive them crazy. And it's funny because earlier today, one of the women who was a witch, she had well, I'll skip back to that part. First, let me stay focused on the guy with the 13 quarters. So I went ahead and accepted him. I exchanged a $20 bill and accepted 10. Then he changed it from 13 to 10 quarters. He was just doing that because the apartments that I live in, they did the same thing. They told me my mailbox number was 13, but then, and it was the other company who was here before the current company who's here, and those people, they're out of here. They got rid of them. But and it kind of happened after I started exposing something in my comments about what was going on, and when I on one of my other channels that I don't really use that much. But and then all of a sudden they were had to get out of here or whatever, and another company took over, um, property management company. So anyways, but my mailbox number wasn't 13. 13 was in the number, but it wasn't 13. Then she's like, oh, this is the correct number. Sorry, it must have been a mistake on our part. They'll do stuff like that, just being petty. And you could tell they're fake when with their apologies, like, because they know they was doing it. It's just it's an act basically. So anyways, like, after I decided, he was like, oh, thank you. So it wind up just being $10 in quarters, because he was like, do you do laundry? Like, well, anybody could do laundry. I'm like, these people would be doing too much, but that's okay because it's about to go down for y'all ass. But anyways, I left. I got home. I parked on the street, and then I saw the guy that lives in the same apartment complex that has the three little pit bull looking dogs, or bullies. I don't know what they're called. Excuse me, but out of all of a sudden he comes walking around the corner, but this time he doesn't have his dogs on the leash, and they want me to talk about it because those demons in them are listening. That's why they don't want me to speak. But anyways, he let his dogs off the leash, and then they came running up to me as I was getting my son out of the car. I want to get something to drink. I should be fine. It's like it makes it, there's something in the back of the throat. Just making me think about, I can't remember that cute little teenage boy, and now he's not a teenager, he's probably like between 21 and 24 years old. and he was saying something about something on his channel, and something got stuck in his throat. And he didn't edit it out. And I'm not going to either. So, anyways, the guy acted like it was an accident. I have to learn how to fight through this without anything to drink. Because that helped one time. Now I see why that happened when I went to PCC with those people, because there were gang stalkers there. They were using one target back this time because they know automatically if I see a bunch, I'm automatically going to know what's going on. And that happened there. And then the lady was like, oh, you can get some water. And it didn't happen to anyone else, but that's okay. So, anyways, okay, it's clear now. So, anyways, that guy pretend that the dogs were just running. He was like, get. He started cursing them out and stuff. I was like, you're the one who don't even have them on the leash. And the dogs were so cute too, and they seemed like they wanted to say hi and come up to me, but they didn't get to come close to me. They stayed back some, and they just stood there. They didn't come close. And then he all of a sudden he tried to make it more dramatic by yelling and said, "Get your mother," you know what? He was like, y'all know better than that. And I think he said sorry, but you know how these people, they just be acting and playing. And it was freezing out there and the wind was blowing cold, but I didn't have no jacket on because today I do some exercises like that to strengthen my mind. And I was okay because, yeah, and I didn't have a coat on. So I guess and yeah, anyways, he got upset, but it's like it didn't work. It didn't make me curse him out or anything. But it's funny because I just told another Caucasian European woman, I almost said Neanderthal just to F with him, but no, I'm not gonna say that. A European woman or a Caucasian woman, and I just told her she had paid me back the money finally that I paid her. She was like, well, even though it wasn't that much, but you know how I feel like sometimes the gang stalkers, they do that. They ask for money a lot, and then they sometimes make false promises or just try to fuck with you. And I remember speaking on this, so I know they have some demons that be probably listening or knowing what's going on and then trying to report it to them. But anyways, I told her earlier today about gang stalking. She told me about one other woman going through it that lives somewhere off MLK, like further down. And it was crazy because I'm like, okay, so you know what's happening, but it's not happening to you. She said she know people are watching her too, so I'm kind of getting the idea that maybe she's one of the gang stalkers that used to be gang stalked, but working with them now. But she might not be. So I've thanked her for, I appreciated her for saying what she was saying, but I think she was gang stalking me because she was wearing PJs that said Lost Boys, and I remember I titled one of my videos the when I got soft hearted for the Lost Lane gang stalkers, and I just saw 1313. And then another thing is she had this creepy laugh that was on her phone, so when she texted somebody, she was texting someone while she was and she came up to pay me back, but she kind of like wanted to walk into my home. I said, okay, I'll let her in. I was like, well, I didn't get to straighten up, so pardon that. But it wasn't that messy though, because I've seen plenty of people tell me that my version of messy is nothing compared to a lot of houses that they go to. Even when DHS was involved in my life, they was like, you always keep your house so clean. But and they said that my house would be the model for the entire, like maybe a lot of these houses in the apartment complex, because they're filthy. So they were proud of it. They was happy to take pictures and show like how my apartment was to the judge in the file case or whatever.